Have you ever wondered whether or not it is possible to thrive without the constant hustle? So let's start with the truth that stings. Survival mode will make you strong, but it will also make you tired. And if you're not careful, it will convince you that being tired is the only way to prove you're alive. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've worked your way out of the struggle, but you still can't rest. You've paid the bills, but you still feel broke. Oh. You've achieved more than you ever thought possible, but you're still panicking about the next thing. That's survival mode. It doesn't end when the crisis ends, it lingers. It's like sleeping with your shoes on, even though the fire is long gone. You survived the storm, but now you don't know how to take off the armor. And here's the thing, armor is heavy when you are no longer at war. So today let's talk about how to unlearn survival mode. Let's talk about thriving without the constant hustle because surviving was never meant to be your forever story. So what really is survival mode? Survival mode is not just stress. It's a way of life. It's your body, your brain, your entire nervous system on constant alert. You wake up already braced for bad news. You work not because you love it, but because stopping feels dangerous. You don't enjoy the good moments because you're scanning for the next crisis. Think of survival mode like living in a house with smoke detectors that never stop beeping. At first, they save your life, they warn you. But after years of constant alarms, even when there's no fire, you cannot rest. You cannot think, you're always wired. That's why people in survival mode grind themselves into the ground and call it discipline. They numb their feelings and call it strength. They never stop moving and call it ambition. But let's be honest, that's not living. That's running on fumes and you deserve better. So let's talk about your 20s and why you got stuck there. Why do we get stuck in our 20s? Let's be real about why survival mode feels like our default setting. For many of us, our 20s were a battlefield. You're trying to prove yourself in your career, stretching every paycheck, carrying family expectations, navigating very unstable relationships. Some of us even inherited trauma from our parents who struggled, environments where scarcity was normal. So survival mode was not an option, it was a necessity. It's how you got through school while working two jobs. It's how you navigated toxic workplaces. We've all been there. It's how you smiled through heartbreak while still showing up to class or to that shift. But here's the problem. What kept you alive at 22 is suffocating you at 32. Your 20s demanded hustle culture, but your 30s are whispering something new. Peace, stability, joy. But that's something you cannot resonate with. And if you're addicted to chaos, those whispers sound like laziness. Let me drop this truth. Sometimes we confuse exhaustion with worth. We think if we're not running on empty, we're not valuable. But look, value doesn't come from burnout, it comes from being. Let's talk about the bill survival mode sends you when you refuse to put it down. It's expensive, emotionally. Anxiety becomes your default setting. You cannot sit in silence because your brain starts racing, and peace starts to feel very suspicious. Relationally, you approach people like checklists. What can they do? What do they want? How do I protect myself? Real connection? Oh, it suffers. Physically, your body collapses under the weight. Adrenal fatigue, insomnia, chronic stress. You wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. God, I've been there at a particular point in my life. I was there. I need you to understand that survival mode is very expensive. And here's the kicker. You pay for it twice. Once with your youth and again with your health. And this is the part that really hurts. Some of us are still living like the storm is raging. But the storm ended years ago. We survived, but we never learned how to live. So how do we unlearn survival mode? Step 1. Define productivity. Productivity is not about how exhausted you are. It's about impact. not hours. Stop wearing burnout as a badge of honor. Step 2. Teach your nervous system safety. Teach it to calm down. That means you have to rest without guilt, breathing without rushing, saying no without a 10-minute apology. Your body needs to relearn what calm feels like. Step 3. Shift from scarcity mindset to abundance. Survival says there's never enough. Thriving says I am enough and there will be enough. Scarcity hurts. Abundance flows. Step 4. Take off the armor. Armor saved you in battle, but in peace, it blocks intimacy, creativity, and softness. Thriving requires vulnerability. Think of it like this: survival mode is carrying water buckets back and forth. Thriving is installing plumbing. One keeps you alive, the other sets you free. And are you not tired of buckets? Now, let me introduce some thriving practices for 30 plus. Thriving is not just about yachts, six-figure incomes, Instagram aesthetics. It's about sustainable joy. Let's talk practices. Number 1, pleasure without guilt. That means enjoying rest, hobbies, softness, not just when everything is done, but because you deserve it. Secondly, rhythms are not grind. Build routines that nourish, not exhaust. Have you considered community over competition? Thriving people build circles, not cages. Setting boundaries that honor rest. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because oh goddamn, it does. And here's the thing: thriving is often quiet. It doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes thriving is reading on a Sunday with no guilt. Sometimes it's cooking a meal slowly instead of ordering fast food in a rush. Sometimes it's choosing to walk away from a fight because peace tastes better. Thriving is choosing expansion over exhaustion. Are you surviving or thriving? And take a second. Pause this if you need to. Breathe and ask yourself, do I wake up braced for disaster even when nothing is wrong? Do I feel guilty when I rest? Do I measure my worth by how much I've done instead of who I am? Do I only feel safe when I'm hustling? And if your answer is yes, you're still in survival mode. And that's okay. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Now flip the script. Imagine a life where thriving is normal. What would change? Write it down. Speak it out loud. Thriving begins with permission. That's the truth I need you to take home. Survival was never supposed to be your forever. It was the bridge, not the destination. Survival was your proof of strength. Thriving will be your proof of wisdom. And wisdom whispers this: you were not born to live life braced for impact. You were born to expand. So take off the armor, put down the buckets, unlearn the hustle, and step into a life where rest is holy, peace is natural, and joy is your birthright. Hi 30 plus. Welcome home.